The weight of a child's casket is something no parent should ever know. It isn't measured in pounds. It's measured in stolen futures, lost laughter, and breaths that will never be taken again. As I tighten my grip on the polished handle of my son, Ethan's tiny casket, only one thought echoed through my mind. She should have been here. My wife, Ethan's mother. The woman who claimed Tokyo meetings kept her from our dying son's bedside. The woman who promised she'd be thinking of us every second. But she wasn't in Tokyo. 3 hours earlier, as mourners filed in, a text appeared from an unknown number. It was a photo. Vanessa, my wife, of 8 years laughing beside an infinity pool in Bali, her head on another man's chest, his hand on her collarbone, their drinks glowing in the tropical sun while I stood under a funeral home's cold fluorescent light, preparing to bury our 5-year-old son. I didn't break. Not in front of Ethan's teachers or the doctors who tried to save him. Not even when my mother squeezed my arm with furious, trembling fingers. "Today is for Ethan," she whispered. So I swallowed the rage. I swallowed the heartbreak. I swallowed the betrayal, and I carried my son alone. I gave Ethan's eulogy with a steadiness I didn't feel. I spoke of his Lego cities, his dinosaur obsession, the bravery he showed through chemo and endless hospital nights. But behind every word I saw Vanessa's sunlit smile in Bali, so carefree, so unburdened. After the burial, Vanessa's parents approached, offering empty condolences. They insisted Vanessa was devastated she couldn't be there. They blamed scheduling. They blamed grief, anything but the truth. My mother saw right through them. "They're preparing excuses," she muttered. "They know more than they admit." By the time the house emptied, I was numb. The silence, once filled with Ethan's laughter, was a knife twisting in my chest. I went looking for whiskey in Vanessa's office, and instead I found answers. And those answers were monstrous. Documents, emails, bank statements, all lying innocently in her neatly stacked folder. A life insurance amendment removing Ethan as beneficiary signed 6 weeks before he passed. Flight itineraries to Bali, a luxurious villa listing circled in red. A $50,000 transfer to someone named Jason Reeves, her lover. There were emails between Vanessa and her parents titled "Transition Plan," her mother advising how to move assets, her father offering to help forge my signature on house documents. She wasn't just cheating, she was escaping. Building a new life, funded by my son's death and my future ruin. I called the number from the mysterious text. A woman answered. "My name is Sophia," she whispered. "Jason Reeves is my husband. Or soon-to-be ex. Your wife and my husband have been together for nearly a year? Nearly a year. Right when Ethan's symptoms began? While I was carrying our dying child between appointments, Vanessa was lost in Bali daydreams. Sophia and I weren't strangers anymore. We were war allies. Vanessa returned home days later, dressed in grief like a costume. "Ryan," she whispered, arms open. "I've been thinking about you every second. How was Bali?" I asked. The mask fell, shock, rage, then cold calculation. I laid out every document, every email, every bank statement. I showed her the proof she signed away our son's policy. She tried to twist the narrative. Side, I tortured our son with treatments. Side, Jason made her feel alive. Side, she was in shock when she signed the policy papers. When I revealed her parents were already being questioned by police, her mask finally shattered. "You'll regret this, Ryan," she hissed as sirens approached. "When the grief settles and you're alone, you'll wish you had just let me go." I looked at this woman I once loved and said, "I'm already alone. You made sure of that." Police escorted her away. I felt nothing, not triumph, not relief. Just the echo of a child's missing laughter in a home forever broken. 6 months later, Sophia and I met regularly. First for evidence, then for support, and eventually because it felt natural. On a warm spring evening, I brought wine and flowers to her door, our first real date, not because we were healed, but because we understood each other's scars in a way no one else ever could. As we sat at her small dining table, she raised her glass. "To honesty, however brutal it is." "To new beginnings," I replied. And for the first time since carrying Ethan's casket, my heart felt quiet. Not healed, not whole, but no longer drowning. Paradise isn't a villa in Bali. Paradise is peace. And maybe, just maybe, it's the chance to rebuild with someone who survived the same storm. Ethan deserved better. Sophia deserved better. And I'm finally learning I do too. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've been through something that shook you to your core, remember that you're not alone. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of survival and new beginnings.